Shalom, more Christ Israel. This is the Isupk Indiana history class. We're going to get started in just one moment. Make sure you share the class. Tonight's topic, the devil's traps to destroy the black marriage. Now, in the beginning, the Most High created a man and a woman to be together. And then we talk about Adam and Eve. First couple the Most High was really dealing with. And knowing this, the Bible gives great insight to how we was destroyed as a nation. Because the foundation of any nation is the people and the family, which begins with the marriage. From the marriage, you have a union and you have children. And knowing this, to keep us from being a nation, like the scriptures say, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired, he has to subtly destroy the foundation, which is the marriage. You know, a black man and a black woman, Hispanic man, woman, Native Indian man, woman, which produces the children. And we're going to show in the scriptures that the devil has had these traps that throughout history he has used to destroy us as a people, right? We're going to go into the scriptures, and then I'm going to get some commentary. We're going to go into the Willie Lynch letter. A lot of people will discount that and say, that's not real. Well, if you read it, the devil's following the playbook to a T concerning destroying and breaking up the black household. So if I will, let's go into the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, and verse 4. The oppressor is the devil, the Bible speaks of. You know why? Because he wants to keep you from this information. He wants you to think that marriage is what he says marriage is, right? Two people being in love. Well, two people can be a man and a woman, or a man and a child. That's what they're trying to push now. A child don't even know anything about love. You see what I'm saying? But according to America, he's going to say no. You know, people are people, love's love. Some people even love their animals, which is sick. But the Most High says what marriage is, and we're going to define it, right? So if I will, this is the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, and verse 4. And it reads, marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers God will judge. Now, let's break this down. What is marriage? I'm going to go into the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, and we're going to read the biblical definition of marriage. Not what the oppressors say, not what America say, but what God say in this Bible, right? Reading from this book right here, the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Now, this was written by biblical scholars, you understand? And it reads here in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary on page 345, it reads, marriage is an intimate, personal union to which a man and woman consent, right? Consummated and continuously nourished by sexual intercourse, right? So let me ask you, sis, in the foundation of what marriage is, or how it's established, what would you say it would be? It's pretty easy.
In like the world?
Well, let's say just what we just read. In the world, we know they say, well, you go down to the courthouse, you walk down the aisle, you give each other rings, and the white man or the oppressor say, I allow you to. I don't want to give the answer. Well, what would you say?
Well, according to the dictionary, sex is marriage.
Clap it up. Sex is marriage. Consensual sex is marriage. Because some people will say, well, I was raped, right? Does that mean the man is married to me? No. That's why they added the word consent, right? That's continuously nourished by sexual intercourse, right? So now we live in a society here in America, here in the West, where they say marriage is a union between two people that's in love. This is going against what we just read. God's definition of marriage is. And marriage is an honorable thing. You understand? And we got to understand that in the black community because we got so many definitions of what marriage really is, right? We got, people say, well, we just, friends with benefits, or it's just my man, or, that's my old lady, or we got all these definitions of how we relate to each other in an intimate, from an intimate standpoint. And we need to know this because your oppressor, your enemy, Satan, knows how to destroy your relationship. He does. It's nothing new under the sun. He knows how to do it then, and he knows how to do it now. And we're going to go into the history in the Bible and history in life to show you how the devil has these traps to destroy the black marriage. And you gotta guard your marriage, your union, right? Because it's really the most precious thing, relationship with human, right? And we lessen it because our oppressor, he does not want that. He doesn't want that. You watch movies, he uses entertainment and give you the definition of how to relate. That's just like before I came in. I was watching an old movie. Anybody ever seen that movie? How Stella got a groove back. She got her groove back. This is an old movie. I'm dating my age, but basically the movie was about a successful businesswoman, a black woman, and she was 40 years old, single, seemingly. I believe she had a son. I don't know if you've seen the movie before. Okay, now you're gonna go watch it, but she figured, well, man, I'm just working all the time, and I'm just caught up in the everyday hustle and bustle of life. No man in sight, right? I think she had a son that she had in a relationship, but it just didn't work out, right? Because they don't classify, your relationship as a marriage. They say, well, you was just in a relationship and it didn't work out. When we take our unions more seriously, they will work out. You see what I'm saying? Because it's supposed to be a lifelong commitment. That's what a marriage is. And I know a lot of people grew up in households where they had one parent and they hear different things. They hear either their mother saying things about the father and vice versa. And that's not how a marriage is supposed to be. I was blessed in that my parents have been married for over 50 years. Some people will never see that. They don't know what that understands. They don't see the progression of a relationship because it grows, it morphs into something on a deeper level. And that's what the Most High meant for your relationship. Not that you have feelings for a moment. And then once the butterflies are gone, you part ways. It's supposed to be your marriage is much like it's much like it's a partnership, but a lot of people, even though it's consummated and nourished by the sexual component, that's just a small part of a relationship. Think about it. It's just a very small part. The other parts is you being you being able to be complimentary with this person, right? Your likes, um, your respect for one another. But we're taught the opposite of that in this society. We taught to disrespect each other. We taught to look down on each other, to not have value for one another as a black man and a black woman, Hispanic man, Hispanic woman, Native Indian man, Native Indian woman. And that got to get right first before you can get a family right. Because how are you going to raise children properly, home train them and rear them properly if they see you arguing all the time, or they see, disorder and toxicity in your life and relationship? That's why it's important in ISUPK, the Commander Junior High, we have a standard ordained by the Most High. It's a courting process. You have a courting process to see if you complement each other, right? Rather than you just, he look good or she look good. I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff out there that look good, but what looks good is not always gold. So you want to take your time. You take your time preparing for college and preparing for your career. Take your time to prepare for a lifelong commitment with somebody. That's what you want to take your time and do. That's very important because you can go into another field if you don't like what you got your degree in, right? You can get another job, you can do something else. But in the eyes of the Most High, in the perfect sense, he meant for that man and that woman to be together. And the devil knows that. That's why he wants to lessen the degree of your understanding concerning marriage, right? Tonight's topic, the devil's traps to destroy the black marriage. So if I will, I'm going to read that again in the book of Hebrews, chapter 13 and verse 4. And it reads, marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled. Now that goes into a lot of different things, but that's what the Most High is saying. It's undefiled, right? And we just read in this book right here, we read that marriage was consensual sex that's consummated between a man and a woman, not Adam and Steve and Lucretia, Letitia, and all that stuff like that, what they giving us in this society. It's crazy. And on the surface, it seems, well, those that's their business. You need to stay out their bedroom and this, and that. But the Most High wants us to be a certain way because it promotes a society that's peaceful, right? Some people say, well, I'm just tired of men. I was in a relationship, I was in an abusive relationship with a man, and they abused me physically, and they hit me and all that. But now you're seeing these, for lack of a better word, these dykes, fighting each other. They fighting each other and beating each other up. I'm like, damn, who the hell? That's like where I used to live. I used to live, and they used to have this two females that was in a relationship. And I just hear them fighting like cats and dogs. I'm like, well, I thought that was just something that you relegated to being in a relationship with a man. So now you fighting with this other female. Maybe it's something with you that need to be straight. You see what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong. Sometimes, before we understood the truth, we was in relationships because we taught in entertainment, boyfriend, girlfriend, in high school. They lessen the severity of relationship. They make it nonchalant. Well, you just get you another woman, or you just get you another boyfriend or something like that. No, this is something serious because the Most High made it so, right? He created it. He created us to have union because it adds to our life. It does. The feminine and masculine aspect. You understand? And I don't care, it's just so crazy because when you look at social media, I don't know if I'm the only one, but you got these social media sites and you have friends that you friend and all this, and sometimes they have these little stories that come up, and you see these women. Okay, they making these poses and all this stuff. I guess it's to entice you, to look at them or to notice them or whatever. I'm thinking, okay, if you was really happy, why would you need to do that? Why do you need to do that if you was really happy? Because I know, you in a relationship, you busy, you in that relationship, you building something in a relationship, not trying to get attention here and there and all that kind of stuff like that. With we're gonna go into the scriptures and see what the Most High had to say about this all. But that's another trap of the devil. That's a trap of the devil. And Eve felt for this because you're not content in what you have. So therefore, you're trying to seek what you don't, thinking that the grass is greener on the other side of the road. And some of y'all need to hear this. Somebody like, man, what he been in my business? Some people need to hear this tonight because things is on the rocks for you. You understand? And you got to know sometimes it's something spiritual, and you're being bombarded from all angles. You're in an invisible war you don't understand. Every day, you're warned. You're warned for your relationship, your love, all these different things that the Most High intends for you to live and have in this captivity, right? So if I will, let's go back into the scriptures and let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes, right? 1 and 9. And make sure you share this class because some people need to hear it. They're wondering, why are we fighting all the time? Why are we arguing? You understand? You ever watch a movie or a television show? Some of y'all wasn't always in the truth. You was with somebody in the world, and then you watching something, and they get y'all to fighting. You getting fighting, somebody get jealous over something that's in a movie on TV. See, that's another trap of the devil because he knows you're going to watch that and react. Your emotions. You know, is that what you like? Well, I ain't even say, they paying attention to your reaction. You with your woman, they paying attention to your reactions. And now you got in a fight over something that's external. Y'all wasn't even thinking about nothing like that. That's a trap of the devil, right? So if I will, this is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1 and verse 9. And it reads, the thing that hath been, it is that which shall be. Now, what is that? It's basically saying that history will repeat itself. That's why it's important for you to understand the history of the Bible, the history of the marriage, so that you can properly have a successful marriage throughout your life. You don't have to get married, but if you do, like Paul said, you don't want to burn. You know what I mean? Because it's very important. Um, I think we were built for relationship, and that can be distorted if it's not properly cultivated. You understand? And everything in this society is against that. You know what I mean? You free, or that's like when I was coming up. Everything was about trying to be a player, or everything was about a man, just how many women he could sleep with. That's what was in the rap songs and on the TV. I think they even have a movie back in the day, how to be a player. You see what I'm saying? Not that you're gonna truly make a commitment with this person and y'all gonna build a relationship, because contrary to popular belief, the Most High didn't make you to just, sow your wild oats and defile a woman, because she desires relationship too, permanency in a relationship, stability. You understand? Vice versa, the man do too. But this society is set up so that it breaks apart the black marriage. And you'll be astonished that this is a plan of your oppressor. And the Christian church has played a part in the destroying of the black marriage. Now, that's hard to say because some people will say, well, the Christian church marry people. The pastor marry people. The pastor is homosexual now, and he marry homosexuals. Isn't that against the ways of God? Right? No, well, not all pastors, not my pastor. Pastor. Let me tell you something, man. They have played a part, maybe unbeknownst to them, but they have played a part in it. You understand? Because now you say, okay, you have to have a ring. You have to have a ring that's going to make you faithful. No, faithfulness is something invisible. It's not a ring. I've seen plenty people get expensive rings and they get divorced. It should be something invisible, like a bond that a ring can't get you. That's something, that's a Roman culture, a ring. You know what I mean? I done seen relationships that was great. And the minute that they legally got married, things went south. You understand? And part of that is because now there's this invisible pressure. There's this invisible pressure that you have to be married in such a way. Some people say, well, don't you get benefits from the government if you go and y'all just go to the courthouse and just make everything legal. Make everything legal so that way, you can get benefits and insurance and things like that. Look, a lot of stuff you're gonna do in your relationship is out of love and kindness anyway. Somebody shouldn't have to force you to take care of your responsibilities and make sure your household is tended to. You see what I'm saying? And it's just another trap of the devil to actually break up marriages. I wish I had, let me see, I could look up the statistics here in America, but it's like over 50% of marriages, what America calls marriages, end up in divorce. I think it's well over 50% because they don't know what a marriage is according to God. That's a trap of the devil. It is. And we got to learn these traps and pitfalls so we don't fall for them. Let me share the class a little bit so I can see if anybody has any questions. But we got to know this, Israel. We got to know this. And that's why Commanding Junior High and the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, what we do is properly teach the Bible. Not what we say. We read right from the Bible and then use the commentary to back it up. Scholarly articles, man. That's crazy. So, if I will, we talked about how in the book of Ecclesiastes, essentially history repeats itself. So now we're going to go into the origin of how Satan separated a black marriage, so to speak. So let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 3, and verse 1. So much in this chapter that a lot of people have never seen. A lot of people read it and gloss over it, have misunderstanding of what the wording is here. But I'm going to break it down tonight. Man, it's crazy. So if I will, let's go to the book of Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. And it reads, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field. Now, this right here is confusing. Because in your mind, your English thinking mind, you're going to look at this as a snake, a serpent, a literal serpent. And you're going to say, ain't no way I believe the Bible now. It's all the way in the book of Genesis. I read that. I'm not even going to read it no more. A talking snake. No, but what you got to understand is that the Bible is written kind of like in slang, right? This is not a literal serpent. This is somebody that has the characteristics of a serpent. You ever heard somebody say, he's a dirty snake? You know what I'm saying? A snake in the grass. Somebody that lives low on their belly like a serpent, right? And what's more subtle, more slick than any beast of the field. Now, the beast of the field here is not talking about literal animals. This is equated to the nations, right? And there's another, let me see if I can find that to prove that point. Okay. The beast is a man in Isaiah 14, right? Let me see if I can find that real quick. Because the Bible proves all things. Because somebody say, well, I thought it was talking about animals. No, it's line upon line, precept upon precept. Here a little, there a little, right? So let me see if I can find that real quick. If you got any questions, type them in. Tonight's topic, the devil's traps to destroy the black marriage, right? We got to know this because many of you are in marriages or you plan to be married. And like with anything that's of value, you need to protect it. Same thing with your marriage, right? And tonight's class is like insurance for your marriage. Not literal insurance where you're going to get paid money, but you're going to get paid something a lot more precious than money, right? You're going to get paid, with the understanding and wisdom to maintain that which is precious. The foundational thing that's to be valued, your relationship, right? Because everything people are doing, it seems like, is to gain some type of relationship. You get a new car, you want to show it off. You get a house, you get clothes, you get makeup, you get jewels, you get some material aspect, or you get some type of accomplishment. You go to college or something. You want to relate to a person to show that you are of value to the person, right? And that's what a lot of people are seeking. Am I valued? We don't understand that subconsciously, America, especially the black woman, America devalues the black woman, really. And we are taught to devalue the black woman, right? In turn, making her devalue herself. You understand? Look at all the movies and the shows out there. You seen the movie Girl Trip? Some of y'all, well, they was kind of turned up though. They was. Look here, man. Here's the thing. Is that some witchcraft to get you to behave a certain way? Right? Think about it. I know things you think things is fun, but as we're gonna see here, when you listen to Satan, and I'm trying to find this in Isaiah if I can to prove who the beast of the field are. I got it in my notes somewhere. But you got to understand that these are tricks to cultivate a character, an ungodly, unholy character within you. So you will never have a successful relationship. It's kind of like a ticking time bomb, right? That's what it is, a hidden ticking time bomb in your mind. And by the time you get in that relationship, it's going to blow up. It's going to blow up in the form of an argument because of an ideology you have concerning this. I'm a queen. I'm a black woman's god. I'm a queen. It's beneath me. Or a man coming a certain type of way, you know, he ain't gonna value the woman. Man, y'all some hoes, y'all this and that. And that's been taught in your rap songs, in your movies. And then you gonna talk that to somebody you say is special, a lady in your life, that you're supposed to show a value. Come on, man. You wouldn't do that way to your car. You wouldn't even, you know what I'm saying? Some of y'all talk better to your car than your woman. Come on, baby. Come on. Yeah, it's my baby right here. Get your car and shine it up and stuff like that. Like, man, I can't stand her. You see what I'm saying? You gonna talk good about what you value. You know what I mean? And we might be doing it subconsciously because that's what we taught by our oppressor, right? We are taught this to devalue each other, the man and the woman element, and we got to see this. And I'm going to prove to you, historically and in the Bible, that this is nothing new. It's been going on, right? So let me go back, Salaki, until I find that verse. Let me break down Genesis, and then if I can find it, I'll go back to it, Salaki. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 3, and verse 1. And it reads, "Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made." We got to understand this is a trip too, because the Lord God made these people. Sometimes we wonder, well, God, if you didn't want me to be around these ignorant people, why'd you make them? It's just like a test, right? In any good story, the author, he writes the story with a protagonist and an antagonist. In God's story of life, he made the villains to be the beasts of the field, which is the heathen nations, right? He lives in eternity. Think he don't get bored? Most High get bored. He want a good story, just like you like a good movie to watch. And the movie would probably be boring if everything just always went right. Ain't no drama, ain't nothing going on in this movie. But a movie good when something start happening, some drama. That's what you like. The Most High want to see us break through. He want to see us rise to the occasion in the movie of life, right? That's why life's about warfare a lot of times. And in the end, we're going to get a reward. We're going to get a reward. On this side of time, in eternity, it don't look that way. It looks dismal. You got the coronavirus here. Many people have dealt with death in this season. Think of that. How that affects you. How that affects the people you live around. That's no light thing. We've been in a season of death. And people are on edge because they don't know. Somebody call, hey man, you gone. What's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Cover your mouth up. Like I see on social media, they don't, not that you should say God bless you or nothing, because that's a Christian thing or something of the world. But you can't, they don't even say that nowadays. When you sneeze, they look at you crazy like they want to. They just say, God bless you. You sneeze right now, everybody gonna turn around. Hey man, somebody better go on with that bull. You know how black people talk. They say, you better go on with that. But we gotta understand that we are in a war. The devil's using many different things to tear us apart as an individual, and then on another level as a couple, right? Because the scriptures say, let me get that one about the 2, 3-fold cord, two or two gather in my name. But let me finish breaking this down before I get that. The Lord God made the beasts of the field, and he said unto the serpent. Let me read this again to get in the proper context. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he, the serpent, said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? You know God said it. That's why you mentioned it. Now, right here, why did he go to the woman? Why didn't he go to Adam? Just like now, you see in the movie, you see the oppressor, you see the white man going talking to the black woman when her husband ain't around. That's the same thing right there. Because the woman's regarded as, the weaker vessel, not meaning that she's under the care of that man. You know what I'm saying? Because that's his rib. He didn't go to Adam and question Adam about that. He went to the woman. You understand? Because he would have gotten Adam's face. He would be like, what you tell me about something God told me? Matter of fact, God told me to rule and reign over everything here on earth. I'm just paraphrasing. So you better get out of my face with that bull before I deal with you. He didn't do that. What he did was he went to the woman. Now you got to think right now the state of the earth, of people. Now you got the people, the beasts of the field, because the Most High created a civilization of people. Now this is the story of the first couple he began to deal with. You understand? His prized possession, Adam, and then Adam's wife. And the serpent was jealous of that. That spirit was in the earth and was jealous of that. So what does he want to do? He wants to break up that union. And that's a tactic that Satan uses today. His counterpart on earth, the devil, aka the Esau. You understand? He uses that, and he's going to use the woman in many times and get her off track. That's why it's important for us. When the Most High gives you care over people, man, you gotta give them the truth and not deceive them. And it starts with reading what he said. If we believe this is the word of the Most High God, it starts with what's in here. Because there's a lot of things out there that's going to teach you something different. Oh, man, that book right there, white man wrote that book. White man been using this book, getting paid off of it. He been keeping people oppressed off this book. That's what you do. You take something that God gave and then you distort it. And you say, oh, man, that ain't the real. White, that's a white man's book. Y'all still believe in that? That's what you would do if you was an enemy. You're going to take the thing which is supposed to be revered, and then you're going to use it against your enemy, which we are the enemy of God's enemy. Because God made people that people hate God. God got enemies. That's why he hate you if you a black, Hispanic, or Native Indian. You are hated. But you think you love. We spend our whole time trying to get love and obtain love. That's not going to happen, man. That's like trying to make a cat bark. You spend your whole life to say roof, roof, roof. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get it to change, and there's a scripture on that. You can't make the crooked way straight. Your oppressor was made crooked upon the earth. And you got to know that. He's just crooked. But here's the key that a lot of our women need to understand. His words are smooth as butter. Let me get that. Because that, if he had a superpower, that's what it would be. Right? You get that. His words are smooth as butter. But war is in his heart. You understand? I think that's in Psalms 55 and 21. This is something you need to understand about the serpent. Because he's going on the smooth tip. He's going real subtle. Salakia. He's going real subtle. And that's how he's not coming to say, I'm going to hate you. My intent is to destroy your life. No, he's not doing that. So this is the book of Psalms 55 and verse 21. And it reads, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter. What is that? Hey, how's it going? Come on in. You know, you talk real nice and you get a good warm feeling. Yeah, hey, I think I can trust this guy. He has my best interest at heart. No, that's his superpower. It says right here, his words are as smooth as butter. You ever sign a contract? You don't have to read it. Everything's good. Now, don't worry about it. The car, we gassed up and everything. Topped off the oil. Everything's good. Then like, man, this something be wrong. You see what I'm saying? Man, he told me that everything was good when I talked to him on the phone. So now, you trying to tell me that I owe some more money. Some of y'all have been through this with this oppressor, right? And you know what I'm talking about, the oppressor, a.k.a. Esau, the Edomite in the Bible. Said like that, I don't want no smoke from, social media. If I say the wrong word, y'all already know it. Y'all do. Read between it. But that's what it is. Now, let's see what his real intent is, right? And it reads in Psalms 55, verse 21, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter. If you got any questions, just let me know. If you got any questions, whatever like that. But war was in his heart, in his mind, right? War. And why does somebody want to war with you? Because they hate you. They want to destroy you. They'll tolerate you for one reason, to be subservient to them in some form or another. And when we understand that, that frees you up in life to prepare for the war. Many people are in a war every day and they don't know it. Psychological war. It might not be somebody coming at you with a gun, because it's what you taught to think of as war. You're thinking of tanks and planes and somebody dying. Sometimes somebody kill your spirit. They kill your spirit. The body gonna follow. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that in the Willie Lynch. But that's what you need to understand. That's a trap that the devil uses to break up the black marriage. Divide and conquer. Right? Why didn't he was peeping them off in the distance. Why didn't he come when he seen Adam and Eve and say, hey guys, did you know? And he couldn't do that because both of them would have been strong together. You see what I'm saying? No, God said, ain't that what he said, baby? Yeah, God showed this. We can't do that. Right? That's why it's important to get the unit right. Because if you got the unit right as a couple, then you can build a nation. You can build a family. You can build a family. You can build a community. Then you can build a nation. Why do you think they broke that up? Jim Crow. Think about around that time. The black family, and this is a history class tonight, there was usually 2-parent households. Nowadays, they broke that image up. You got black women trying to raise children of their own. And the thing is they took the deal of the serpent, so to speak. Just like, let's go back to Genesis chapter 3, verse 1. Let me read that again. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, had God said, Ye should not eat of every tree of the garden? I can imagine him coming like that, talking like that. And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden. Now she knew what God had expected of her because Adam had instructed her, right? Now, because, in this sense, she was innocent. She was so innocent here in a way. She didn't know what was going to happen. And a lot of times that happens with us, being too trustworthy of the wrong element. Verse 3, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God had said, she knows what God had said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye die. Neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. Verse 4, and the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. Microphone dropped. I picked this mic up. I should drop it. But right there, this is going against what God said. So, one moment. Take a little break. Type in your questions while I'm gone. Anything that hurt the brothers and sisters, you know. Everything good with you? We back, y'all. We back. We grab some water. I know y'all can hear me. You understand? But tonight's topic, we're talking about the devil's traps to destroy the black marriage. Right? There's many traps. You could close the door. If you could. Has a lot of traps. And right now we're reading in the book of Genesis. Now, Genesis is the first book in the Bible. This is all the way in the beginning of the Bible. This is the origins of dividing and conquering your relationship. To go against what the Most High God said to do, his laws. That's the number one foundational trap that the devil, Satan's going to use to break up your relationship. Because somebody's going to have a different ideology and philosophy than what God said to do. Right? And we read in the book of Genesis chapter 3, verse 1, the origins, the history of that. And how that manifests even today to destroy your life because your relationship's important. It is. A lot of people say, I don't need no man. You need a man. I don't need no one. Look, let me say something. Some of y'all are fooling yourself. You fooling yourself because so much of what you do is to get attention from the opposite sex, unless your mind is so reprobate. Now you went to the point where you're just with the same sex, right? A lot of what you do, look at what men do. You feel like you need to do all these things, unless you got some wisdom, to impress a woman. Well, I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna get my head together. you know what I'm saying? Give me this whip. I'm gonna get, these clothes, I'm gonna get fresh for the club. All these different things. And you Tawab, sis? By the way, I see you rubbing. Was it the incense?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah, I'm slocky in the incense. But you do all these different things to try to attract somebody.
I am, yeah, but
Do all these things to try to attract the opposite sex. And the thing is that you're doing that because you, number one, are looking. A lot of people are looking for some type of validation from external, an external element in the form of a person. But you got to value yourself first. You ever heard them say, "Well, you can't love nobody, you don't love yourself." That's true. You know what I'm saying? Because how you gonna give somebody something you don't got? And that's becoming increasingly hard because society is bombarding you with self-hate. You know what I mean? They might not tell you literally to hate yourself, but it's going to be in the form of something that degrades you. You know, as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we are a royal nation. We think anything but royalty a lot of times in how we act. When you're royalty, you have privileges from the king. You know what I mean? And I ain't trying to sound all Christian and give you some fake, some fake privileges and stuff like that. But on the real, there's a way that we are supposed to live. That's the law, statutes, and commandments. That's gonna set you apart, make you holy and royal. The law, statutes, and commandments of God in the Bible, right? Simple things. How you eat, you know. Think about how you eat and how the heathen eats. They'll go and put anything down their gullet, catfish, rib, pig feet, ham hocks. Some of y'all used to eat that. I ate some of that stuff too. Well, God declared all foods clean, brother. That's what they try to say. Paul said. Paul had a dream, man. A dream is like an analogy. You know what I'm saying? He was too the pastor, Christian pastor's too ignorant to understand that. He just wanted an excuse to eat bacon. You know what I'm saying? So just like what the serpent is doing here in Genesis, that's what he does now. And now he done told whoever in that relationship to go to the Christian church to change their diet. Y'all agreed not to eat pork. You in that relationship. Pastor said I could eat pork. He showed me right here. And now there's a disagreement. Because the thing is, the serpent's always going to use something that God said not to do to break you up in your marriage. Go ahead. Oh, I thought you had a question. But that's that. I'm just showing you a contemporary example of how you see the serpent today. Right? That's how you see the serpent. That's why it's important to learn the laws, statutes, and commandments in the ISUPK, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commander Junior Yohanan since 1969. We've been teaching these pertinent facts so that you can use them as a safe haven for your life. You got to guard your life. Everything that's worth anything has boundaries, right? That's why you lock your door at night, because there's value within your home. But America teaches you everything is free, right? That's what America teaches you. And if you could, I'm glad you're here. If you could, brother, I'm going to have you read for me, you know what I'm saying, some of these scriptures. That's why you lock your car, because it's a value, right? But according to America, America wants you to just be a whore. That's letting anybody in, defiling yourself. First spiritually, then physically, right? That's being a whore. You understand? And we got to know this, because if we don't guard our life, that's how we're going to remain destroyed. We're going to remain destroyed in this captivity. And without rules, look, everybody needs some good rules. You wouldn't drink poison, would you? But the lie is made to look so beautiful and sweet. We talked about in the book of Genesis, chapter 3 and verse 1. And if I could, for the sake of reiterating, let's get that again and break this thing down. Then we're going to read the Willie Lynch letter. Some of y'all might have heard of the Willie Lynch letter. It was written by a former slave. He used to handle slaves, right? And he taught slave plantation owners how to break their slaves with brutal tactics. Anybody ever seen the movie Great Debaters with Denzel Washington? He talked about that a little bit in that movie. I'm going to go over it tonight, right? So, yeah, if you could, let me get that.
Genesis chapter 3, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field.
Today, the spirit of the serpent is in your oppressor, so-called Caucasian, so-called Edomite in the Bible. And the heathens have adopted his ways. Go ahead.
Which the Lord God had made.
Lord God made him.
And he said unto the woman.
Said unto the woman. He didn't say to Adam or both of them together. He said to the woman, divide and conquer. Go ahead.
Ye hath God said, Yahweh, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden.
Let me tell you something, man. That's what we get in Isupk every week at camp. Somebody coming up to the camp trying to tell us what God said, and they ain't got a Bible. They don't know nothing about the Bible, and they trying to tell us something. That's the serpent. You see what I'm saying? Every day we see interracial couples, you know what I'm saying, walking down the street, knowing that the Bible says it's wrong. You might have did that in the past, but once you learn the truth, then you do, okay, I ate pork chop in the past, but I don't eat no pork chop no more. You know what I'm saying? You can't be with that white girl, don't be with the white girl, the white man. Do what the Most High say to do, because it's beneficial for your life. And that's what's happening right here. He went to the woman to divide and conquer. Now he's filling up her mind. That's why it's very dangerous when black women go to college sometimes, because they fill up their mind full of things that can drive them further away from their relationship, from their culture. Black men too. But as the scriptures say, the woman's a weaker vessel, because a woman, look, Most High give you that wife, he gave you a possession, something to care for, right? You wouldn't take your wallet, store it away, would you? Burn your wallet, harm, because you consider it valuable. How much more valuable is your wife? When you look at your wife like that, you're going to take your time to make sure she's provided for and cared for, because she's a reflection of you, right? Your wife. What you eating, baby? You know what I'm saying? What you rocking. Not that it's all about carnality and all this, but you rocking some nice stuff and your woman dressed like a bum. No, you're gonna make sure, look, man, we gonna look good together. Whatever your standards is for that household, put it like that. Whatever this complimentary, that's what you're trying to implement, right? Serpent, which is not a literal snake. The characteristics of a serpent, somebody that's low, somebody that sneaks up on you. Think about a serpent. If you ever went to the woods or you went out somewhere, I always talk about this story, right? When I remember I was in the military, right, and they had us out in the woods, like we was on this navigational exercise where we had to learn how to use the compass. And me and this other brother, man, we was out there, and they was telling us, look, in these woods, we was in North Carolina. In these woods, you got a lot of dangerous snakes out here. They was telling us about the black, I think the moccasin, the coral snake, and all these different snakes out there. And they was like, they showed us a picture of it. And I remember the coral snake. That was supposed to be the most deadliest one. It looks like rainbows, red, yellow, and black, and all this stuff like that. And me and this brother, we was like, I was out here complaining. I was young, and they got us out here, stepping on stick, rock, all this stuff like that. And then I stopped dead in my tracks. And I see the snake. It was like almost up on me. That's what a serpent do, sneak up on you. I said, hey man, you see? I look back, he was running already. You know what I'm saying? He was already gone. I said, man, I started running. I was young back then. But that's the characteristics of a snake. It can sneak right up on you, a serpent, and you don't know it, right? Just to give you some insight into this scripture. Serpent is more subtle, sneaky than any beast of the field. Go ahead. Yeah, read some more on it if you could.
Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden.
Now, why would you say that? God, you know that the Most High told them something, and now you're going against that. Just like all these other people do in the earth today. Kemet, Islam, Confucius, Scientology, Egyptology, all these different philosophies and mindsets to have you go against God. And that's kind of hard for us to understand because we're like, if God didn't want us to be around these people, why he make them? He made everybody to love each other. Meanwhile, you the one that getting bust upside your head and knocked out. When the last time you seen a Chinese person get hit with a nightstick on TV? Man, they beat that Chinese man to hell like a dog. You ain't never seen that. Or a Chinese woman dragged like they do black women. Never. You seen it happen in that them Korean stores. We patron their businesses, patronize their businesses, getting our nails, black women getting their nails and feet done. And what was happening? And even today, we still going to them, but they do put some good, color on them nails. We ignorant. We ignorant. You see what I'm saying? We can't just decide. And part of that is our royal nature, wanting to be served. Sometimes we let our own pride get in the way. Especially the tribe of Judah, they are servants. You let them serve. Get me straight. You know what I mean? That's how we be thinking, because that's a little bit of that royal nature in us to be served. If you never understood that, that's why we keep going back to them heathens to serve us, and that's going to happen in Christ's kingdom. Instinctively, black women kind of feel that. They want to get served by these goddamn heathens. You know what I'm saying? Go to these Chinese restaurants, which I don't eat anymore. I don't. When I used to eat at those Chinese restaurants, I used to throw the hell up. And I was wondering, what the hell is this? They General Soul chicken and orange chicken and all that. You better go to the one in the mall. So lucky if you eat the one in the mall is a little bit sanctioned. Everybody know that one. You go to the one in the mall. I'll go to none of them, but that was the one I would go to because I think that's real chicken right there. I don't think they can get no dog off of it here. But that's what be happening, man. The devil's going to tell you to go against something that God said to do, and before he can do it as a nation, if he can just get the relationship, the household broken up, that's going to be like a virus and duplicate itself throughout our race. You know how a virus works, right? It copies itself. A virus isn't even alive. It just takes over healthy cells. Hence, what's going on with this coronavirus? It duplicates itself. That's kind of getting deep. But that's what happens in the black household. Like a virus, the point is to duplicate the dysfunction in the households, right? Excuse me. That's what's going on. And the serpent is trying to stick his fangs and venom in Eve to have a spiritual virus, so to speak. All right. So with that said, we're going to drop that. And if I will, make sure you share the class. Tonight's topic, the devil's traps to destroy the black marriage. It's important for you to understand it because some of y'all going through it with your woman. You don't understand what's going on. Or you going through it with your man. That's why we need to be on the same page, right? How could two walk together unless they be agreed? I'm just paraphrasing, what I'm saying? You try to get your life right and they turning up every weekend and all that, and well, I love this person. I'm just going to stick it through with them and stuff like that, right? Man, you not on God's page, it's going to fail, man. A lot of times it just really is. It's going to meet its demise, that relationship. We talked about the definition of marriage. If I will, let's get the book of Romans chapter 1 and verse 26. Now, we talked about in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, the definition of marriage. If the people that's just joining, I'll read it again. The definition of marriage was: marriage is an intimate personal union to which a man and woman consent, consummate, and continuously nourished by sexual intercourse. Sex is marriage, and it's continuously nourished too. That's another aspect. What they tell you in the movies: if he don't do what you say to do, girl, don't give him none. You know, trying to withhold, that's wicked and witchcraft. Or the man doing that. Your woman want to be touched, man. You know what I'm saying? In many cases, if they're in a marriage, you know what I mean? But society and movies tell you otherwise, to use the sexual component of marriage to manipulate your partner. You see what I'm saying? That's another trap of the devil to break up that black marriage, right? Unless you come to an agreement and say, well, we're gonna withhold from the sexual component to, fast, like Paul was saying, or, concentrate on other things, and you come to an agreement on that, then that's different. But you trying to, well, shoot, he ain't get me what I want. I ain't gonna give him nothing. Hey, baby, what's going on? Hit you in the rib, hey, or something like that. Or it could go the other way around, woman trying to, be intimate with her man. And man, I'm tired. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired. You always tired. The point, the point is that these are traps to break us up. We don't see them. That's why it's important to study Genesis chapter 3. So much content in that to understand in your life. If you can decipher and look between the lines, or you can look beyond the words, the serpent, because somebody see that and they take that as a literal serpent, right? So if I could, let me get that in Romans.
Romans chapter what?
1 and 26.
Romans chapter 1, verse 26. For this cause Yahweh gave them up unto vile affections.
Right. Sometimes the traps of the devil will lead you down a road. Now think about this. This is crazy. This is the book of Romans, written by Paul, the apostle. He was in Rome. And it got so vile there. What did it say again?
For this cause Yahweh gave them up unto vile affections.
Good night. Think about what it just saying in that. God gave up on people. You ever heard that before? God, I never give up on you. Just keep praying. That's what they tell you in the Christian church. But it said right there, he gave them up to vile affections. Vile, you know what vile is, right? Something disgusting. You understand? Now let's read what those vile affections are.
For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature.
Right. The woman, and that's basically a woman being a lesbian. That which is against nature. Even their women did. Because now America says, through the feminist movement and different things, they're saying a woman can be with a woman. All this is really Satan in the form of some philosophy. That's what I'm trying to show you. It's something that's going to get a wedge between you and your relationship, or potential relationship. That's what I'm trying to show you. Satan, it's invisible. It's invisible. Somebody's going to tell you straight up they're going to sneak you. They just going to sneak you. You know what I mean? But this right here is destroying your household because you don't know. Because they told you all men are dogs. He ain't going to do nothing but, whatever. I can't stand niggas. You heard that one? I'm just telling you what I hear. I'll be in the streets. I used to be in the streets like that, But that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get these type of minds, pitfalls. Now you got two women want to be with women. You know what I'm saying? Women, it might go that way too. God damn. But you got women want to be with another woman because now they don't value a man, or they say, "Well, I still mess with men." Man, you mess with women too. That's not what the Lord said to do. And you ain't supposed to be no man mess with no other man. Well, it don't matter about who's a pitcher or catcher. They say,
Right.
get out of prison. Well, he did that to me. He the one that gave. I mean, people will put all kind of stuff in their mind to justify their sin. That's what I'm trying to show you. Man, that's sick. You got a sickness, and you know what? And I ain't trying to make people feel bad out there. If you've done some things, you can get healed from it. You know what I'm saying? Contact Isupk, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. This ain't no class of condemnation. I'm just showing you who's to blame. The devil's to blame. Say, well, oh, man, you're going to blame it on something invisible. That's how it works. And if you can get the masses to understand an ideology that's not of the Most High God, it's just going to be like a hamster. It's going to start spinning on its own axis. And man, we're going to talk about the Willie Lynch letter. Let me see if I can send this to you. Oh man, dang. I got it on my phone, but I would like for you to read it. If can you Google the Willie Lynch letter, the Negro marriage? We're gonna read that chapter. Okay, no sweat. I got it then. I'll read it. Now, finish reading that if you could, Baba Bashar. In Romans.
Romans chapter 1, verse 27, Shalaki. And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burn in their lust one towards another.
That's homosexuality, right? You know how many marriages got broken up, especially in that Christian church, because the pastor, he didn't condemn homosexuality. I remember one time I went to the Christian church, right, a long time ago, and the pastor said he wasn't going to do a series on homosexuality. And I'm thinking, well, why not? Because he didn't want to offend his congregation because there was homosexuals in the congregation. Look, spare not, lift up, let's say, cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet and show my people their transgressions. That's supposed to be the job of the shepherd. Look, man, you wouldn't let your kid keep doing something, your child keep doing something. Let your child put their hand in a blender and don't warn them. You're going to run over and grab, what the hell, what the hell you doing? I don't want you ever do that. You're going to, because you care and you love your children, right? You should. Same thing is with the people you in the care with. You're supposed to warn them and be like, look, I'm just going to tell you what the Lord say to do. It's your choice. It's not a good look. You know what I'm saying? There's help. And a lot of times that's a demon. You know what I'm saying? Of course, there's an origin of that. There's an origin of homosexuality and lesbianism. This was a while back. Before I really knew about what marriage was myself. I was in a relationship, and the female I was with was telling me a story, an experience she had in church when she was a little girl. And she told me one Easter Sunday, she went to the church, so, a black church she went to, and she said one of the church mothers had taken her into the basement. And she took her in the basement and lifted up her Easter dress and fondled her. This was a woman doing this, a black woman doing this to a little black girl. She told me that this woman made her feel things she had never felt before. You don't think that traumatized her? And when she's telling me the story, I'm seeing the tears coming from her eyes. This is in the Christian church, in the basement of them Christian churches, man. Let me tell you something. A lot of people don't want to hear this. So much evil going on in them. And I would never thought I would even say something like this because I used to go to the church. But now that I have the truth to put things in the proper perspective, so much evil go on in them church basements you wouldn't believe. Rapes and money laundering and all kind of stuff. Go ahead.
Man, the Christian church so bold. They got names of stuff like the Eastern Star Church, you know, and that's a clear the Eastern Star. That's like a woman Freemason or something. You know, they be doing all type of stuff down there in them basements.
Good night, man. Good night.
It's all bad in the Christian church.
You're right. Clap it up for that comment. I really appreciate that because I'm not the only one that's had these experiences. I remember one time, you know, and it's under the guise of good works. You know, they have some food down there. You know, sometimes they have good church cookouts and have some served food. And, it just seemed good. And then I see the pastor sitting at the table, and this was a church I had never been to before. And the church. Here's the thing about the pastor, right? He knows his congregation. He knows who comes there week in, week out. And I think during that time I was going through something. A lot of people that's when you go to church because you're going through something, right? You're like, well, because in your mind, you've been taught that this is the place to relate to the Most High God. That's also a marriage too, in a sense, your relationship. Christ calls us the bride of Christ. But he'll see somebody that's never been in that church before. He'll observe them, look at their clothes, look at their countenance, and say, let me tell you something. Somebody's going through something. He's like, what? Then you start to think that God, that's a man of God. He knew what was going on in my life. That's just like if a bum, a hobo walk in the doors of church, he's going to say, somebody needs some money. Good Lord, he talking about me. You know what I'm saying? That's why you think we've been tricked into believing, and it's so smooth because we've been tricked in believing that we seeing God in that church because we see people falling out. I used to believe that too. Man, what they doing? They shaking. And it seemed crazy because I never would have thought, because I thought that was something real. I did. I wanted to believe it was something real. But then you do get all that emotionalism. And then, now, come on, God's in this place. God's in this place. Pass it around. Pass that money around. You're like, shoot, give them my money. Put the whole wallet on the dang on collection plate. Whew. Oh, Lord. Oh, I felt something. Lord Jesus was in there. Jesus was in there. And then you saw I'm broke. I ain't got no gas money. And they got you. They say a sucker's born every day. You was a sucker for the Christian church, man. Suck. You go ahead.
It's like they perfected the alley-oop.
What's that?
It's like they perfected the alley-oop.
Yeah. They got your money. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, and what I'm saying is like this. That's another trap of the devil. I hate to say it. I don't actually hate to say it because I know now. The Christian church is a trap that the devil uses to break up your marriage, that black marriage. Because you know what? He's counseling with your woman. A lot of churches filled with black women. Black men usually at home watching a football game or something. And a lot of women that went to church, they wonder where all the men at? The good men at? Because you in church, you're thinking that, it's an ideology. It's an ideology. First off, they got a picture of white Jesus in that church or hanging on that cross. And that we know that's not true. Christ was a black man, according to the description in the Bible. But you know why they'll never tell you that? Because now you have to give that black man value. Because you would have to say, you know what? The most important man to ever live was a man of color. He was a black man. You couldn't look down on him. I can't stand your black ass. You know how it's like. You know how they talk. Now you have to give that black man value. But they won't do that because then they would have to devalue themselves and look at themselves as inferior. No, they're not going to do that. That's in the scriptures too, where they covered the faces of the judges thereof. They made Christ out to be some white boy so that he can keep his oppression going because the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, right? That's what the scriptures say. And that's another tool and trap that the devil uses to break up your marriages. Now, think about that. If I could go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 6. This is another trap. This is all coming from my dome. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even writing this. That's how I know it's of the Most High. This is all coming from my dome. This is another trap that the Most High uses to break up your marriages. Now, if they give you, they say the most valuable and revered man to ever walk on the earth is a white man. Now you're a black woman, Hispanic woman, Native Indian woman gonna look at you.
Right.
Look at his ass sitting on the end of the couch. You need to get a job. You know what I'm saying? All kind of stuff. Now let's read another trap that historically has been used, and that's gonna go perfectly into the Willie Lynch letter. Let's get that if you could.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. For thou art a holy people unto thy Lord thy God.
Wait a minute. What does holy mean?
7.
Most High Christ. Go ahead.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
This is one too. When something's chosen, I got a choice, right? For the sake of teaching. When something's chosen, that means something's not chosen, right? So there's a people on the earth that's chosen. So there's a separation right there. That's for everybody to say, well, God loved everybody. He chose a special people. And somebody didn't get chosen. You know, you play pickup basketball or sports when you was in school. I choose you, you, and you. You didn't get chosen. There's a separation right there. If you read your Bible, Christian, or whoever's out there reading the Bible, go ahead.
Above all people.
Oh, now he's above. Somebody says chosen us above. Good night. You chose the people in your relationship because you put them above all them other women, you know, you've seen in your life, right? That's what it's supposed to be in a relationship, right? Vice versa, whatever. Go ahead.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 7. The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because ye were more in number than any people.
Okay, I think that's it on that. But I just want to show you something in that. Look, the point is that there's a separation in the Bible that you are chosen people and you're above all the people on the earth. And they use that white Jesus as propaganda to make you feel inferior. Look, every movie I've seen that has a biblical tone to it is white people as the patriarchs, the heroes, the Ten Commandments. Remember that movie that come on every Easter? You know, your mom and them make you sit in the floor and watch that movie. You know, you sit and watch. Some of y'all, they don't even do that now hardly anymore because a lot of people just don't want to hear nothing about God. Go ahead.
Shalaka Adawan is, I got a question.
Go ahead.
On this, especially verse 7.
Right.
I'm going to read it one more time.
Okay.
The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because ye were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people. Now my question is, and please tell me if I'm seeing this the wrong way, but throughout what our oppressors done to us throughout history and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying, made us basically nothing, you know, separate us and whatnot, to the point where we got to bring ourselves back together. And from everything that all these other nations then gained, where it's saying, because ye were more in number than any people, you know what I'm saying, is that not just explaining to everybody who reads this book, you know?
It's like he said, for ye were fewest of all people, right here in this specific.
Kind out of one kind.
Okay.
So he said that to happen.
Okay, in this particular instance, in this dispensation of time, we was the fewest, right?
Right.
You got to think, what was they doing in ancient Egypt to make us the fewest?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, remember when Pharaoh had told the midwives to kill the male children and save alive the females? I'm paraphrasing. That's going to make you few in number far as your race, because the male holds the seed, holds the race. You understand? So if you kill off, and that was the same reason why they wanted to kill Christ off, that so-called nativity story. You kill off the male, you kill off the race. Of course, we know according to Numbers 1 and 18, by the pedigree of their fathers. You understand? The father carries the race. You can't be an orange and produce apple seeds, right? You got to be a black man, which is, your seed is going to produce its kind. You can't, even though we ain't talking about colorism, skin color, we're talking about what God said. And you look at nature, what the seed is, right? Okay, go a little bit more into your actual question.
Okay. It'd probably be better if I just say it like,
Okay.
how it's saying, because ye were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people.
Okay.
All the nations got each other, especially from, what I'm saying, the slavery that we done built. Long story short, what I'm trying to say is the Lord's not going to be with them damn heathens because of what they did to the Lord's people, the Lord's chosen people.
Well, that, and he just ordained them to be, he had ordained them to be, to be servants to us. He chose.
Right.
God choose. It's a scripture that say he's going to love whom he love and hate who he hate, right? I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, right.
That's just because you need contrast in when he made, right? Good is going to be evil. You see what I'm saying? He made his Israelites, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, Slocky. Good. He made the oppressor and them heathens evil. Because there needs to be duality and contrast in things, right? Just like there's beauty, there's something ugly. Just like there's life, there's death. And there's wet, there's dry. So you see what I'm saying? So that's that. If I ain't trying to get too deep with it, but it ain't just because that's part of it. But at the same time, he just loves you. Sometimes you just got love. Just be thankful. You clap it up for the Most High for allowing you to be His chosen. Now, we going through a process. There's privileges in that, but at the same time, there's also correction, because we're supposed to have a standard of conduct. And that's the law, statutes, and commandments in the Bible. ISUPK and Commanding Junior Hana, we teach that. Make sure you go to the website, isupk.com, and learn more about what we do. We'll teach you about your culture, your true culture. Not what we say, it's not a religion, it's really who you are. That's what's been hidden from you all your life. When you learn who you are, you get emboldened by who you are. Because now you're not just black. I'm black man, black woman. Where the country black at? You know what I'm saying? That's ignorant. You still 22, and you still black man, black woman. Everybody else is, I'm French, and I'm Russian, and I'm Chinese, and I'm this, and I'm that. They got a culture and a name. You ain't even worthy of a culture. That's why they don't want to call you an Israelite. You black, or you're African American. You're a nigger. You're this, you're that. Anything to be a proverb and a byword to keep you off track of what you really are. You see what I'm saying? And that's why, that's one of the traps too that the devil uses to destroy the black marriage. It's one of them, to make you feel inferior. He showed, think about that. And I talk about movies and stuff a lot and different things, because that's been a major thing that they've used to divide us. because the scriptures say, write the vision and make it plain. Paraphrasing. And your mind is very strong. It's very powerful. And what you see, you can emulate. And they use the movies, what they want to do now. A lot of movies is and shows and television is about the black woman being free. She don't need a man. She just need a man for sex. That's it. He's a tool. And when she get done with him, she go to the next black man or whoever she want to be with, white man, Chinese man, and that's not what the Most High say. Matter of fact, I need to get the scripture on interracial. I think it's in Deuteronomy. Go up to is it verse 3? This is another trap. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 3. That the devil uses to divide and destroy the black marriage. You got to know this. These are traps and tricks that the Most High warned us about in the Bible, so that we can know them and prevent it. It's like preventive maintenance. You know what I'm saying? Just like getting an oil change. You're doing stuff ahead of time so it don't get messed up. That's what you're doing with your marriage. You know what I mean? That's what you want to do. You want to have insight and look ahead of time. Have foresight and say, you know what? It don't make a lot of sense right now, but I'm going to do it because the Lord said to do it. And it's going to have good results for me. Let's get there.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Okay. Let's talk about marriages. Wait a minute. I thought he wanted us to get marriage, but it say with them. Right? Go ahead.
Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son.
Thy daughter. Now, we got to understand that the audience, most of the time in the Bible, is pertaining to Israelites, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians on earth today. Right? That's the audience. Say, neither should thou give them. Read that again. Slide.
Verse 3, chapter 7, Deuteronomy. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
Right? You're not supposed to make marriages, have sex with them. Right? Go ahead.
Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son.
Right. Black woman shouldn't be with no damn white boy, man. I don't care what they got out there. And everything now is to try to make it seem like that a white man is the prize. You know why? Because that image of white Jesus. He's the superior man on the planet, according to them. And they're going to continue to perpetuate that image. You see what I'm saying? He's God. White man, God. And if you look at the white man as God, she's going to think, well, that's probably what God would want me to do, is be with a white man. No. I'm just saying the subconscious psyche of it. You know what I mean? And they know that. They know that. And now, that's why you see these shows and you see, remember that show Scandal back in the day? Kerry Washington? And that's sad, man. Now, before that, man, I used to, think she was, aesthetically beautiful. You know what I mean? Aesthetically, not her character. And then I gotta see her laying in the bed with a goddamn Edomite devil every week, moaning, all that crap. Like, she became ugly. Like, ugh, you disgusting. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. And then I know sisters feel that same way too. They feel that same way too. Look at that brother laying up with that cave. You see what I'm saying? But that was a separation. Interracial sex, which is marriage, is a sin because that's a separation. Them and you. That's another trick that the devil used, a trap that he used to destroy. Now, if you did that in the past, that's in the past. You can repent of that and not do that no more. But now that you know better, why not just be with your people? You see, that's honorable. We talk about how marriage is honorable. And that's between a man and a woman. And we're going to get even more intimate. It's between a man and a woman of your race. This is what this is saying. Let's get some more.
Nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
Right. She can't use your comb. Don't bring her home. You ever heard that one? Don't bring that white girl in my house. She can't use your comb. Don't bring her home. That's what they used to say back in the day. And I'm just telling you what the Lord said, because he knew, how can two walk together unless they be agreed? You go out there talking about, yeah, Black Lives Matter and all that stuff like that, and you were a racist, which the Most High is racist. So that should tell you something. That's not going to change. Now, they might talk. I was taught to love all people and to see heart, not color. You know, watch some Tyler Perry movies, boy. They'll really screw your mind up. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, they're going to tell you. They're going to make, because Tyler Perry gets paid. He's a good plantation Negro to keep you docile and on the plantation, to keep you cleaving to your oppressor. That's one movie he got. I think it's a Christmas movie or something like that. And I think that's what they said that. And the whole thing is about the black woman hiding her relationship with this white man. Now, why she got to do that if it was right? Because they know it's really wrong. You know? And some people, look here. Here's the thing. And this is something that's a hard pill for our women to swallow. But a lot of times, that's done to destroy your race. Not because it's out of love. And same thing with the black man. You go to college and you go get the white girl, and you know you thinking, oh man, I got the white girl. You know, you hear that? That's what you talk. That's what they say. I got the snow bunny, man. Are you? That's the word. Ain't that the word they always use? It's a reason why they always use that word. You know, to try to put her on a pedestal. I don't know, goddamn bony slide. I don't see. That's just me, my person. Me personally, I ain't never been with no white woman. Never. And never will. That's me. But some people, you know, you did that in the past. I ain't trying to make you feel condemnation or nothing like that. But the scriptures say, read that again from the top.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
Right. So there's a separation. And, you know, to get the proper context, we could go through the whole, you know, the entire context, if I will. We could go and, you know, read the whole thing, but for the sake of time, we're going to shorten it up. Damn. Got to get to the Willie Lynch letter. Okay. Tonight's a history class. The history. The devil's traps to destroy the black family. Now, I'm going to read this, if I will. This is very important because this is historical literature, right? We need to understand the origins. And tell me if this isn't what is going on today. Now, this is from the Willie Lynch letter. This book was written several hundred years ago. And I'm going to read a chapter from the Willie Lynch letter. And it's entitled The Nigger Marriage or the Negro Marriage Unit. And it reads, we breed two nigger, I'm just saying how they say it. You know how they put that ER on. We breed two nigger males with two nigger females. Then we take the nigger males away from them and keep them moving and working. Isn't that much like today? You have that household from your family all the time, working, moving and working. Man, I got you doing construction. They say I got work. I got work up in Chicago. They building a building up there or something. You doing something, moving and working, right? Say one female bears a nigger female and the other bears a nigger male. Both nigger females being without influence of the nigger male image. Eve being without the influence of Adam at that time. See the trick? Get that man out the picture so she can be bound and joined to another type of marriage. Marriage with Satan in the spirit, right? Let's finish reading. Man, this is so heavy.
Damn.
Frozen with an independent psychology. What? Isn't that a word that's often associated with a lot of black women? Miss Independent. You know the song. Y'all, you listen to stuff back in the day. I know you did. I know you did. Independent. I'm strong, independent black women. How come you never hear white women talking that garbage? They make sure they got their man in their movie. Christmas time, not celebrating Christmas is right, but they all nuzzle around the fireplace, drinking eggnog, living as a family. You know what I'm saying? And meanwhile, all the movies and shows and television shows show the black woman just trying to go somewhere and be independent and living, living her best life. YOLO. You only live once, baby. That's what they tell you to gas you up from getting your man. And the feminist movement was bad. You know why? Because the white woman, under the direction of the white man, told them to tell black women, you don't need a man. You don't need a man in that house. We'll offer you welfare. Welfare be your man. And what happened? White women went behind the black woman's back and got a man. That's what happened. Especially in you've seen an influx of all these white women with black men. What's that movie? Jim Brown, the black football player back in the day. He made a movie where he was with Raquel Welch. This is an old movie. I'm history buff. It's a nice history class. But this was made a big deal back in the day because this was the first time on the silver screen that they had a black man kissing a white woman. Because that was forbidden. That was taboo. Meanwhile, you had been having black women in the cover of darkness with white men. That's a whole nother thing. Since slavery. The overseer, the black woman raping, robbing, and then some willingly. But anyhow, this right here was now the devil's full intent to perpetuate interracial relationships. There's a movie out there, Loving. If you ever seen that movie, where it was a white man with a black woman, to legalize that marriage, to go against Deuteronomy 7:3. This is another trap to destroy the black marriage. Homosexuality, lesbianism, interracial marriages, something to make you go against the laws of God. These are traps to destroy the black marriage. It's a plethora, you know what I mean? But let me read some more. Now, this was written hundreds of years ago. It's funny that they use the terminology independent psychology. That's the mind. You don't need, white woman got her man, but you don't need your man, right? That's how they training the female. Now, watch how they raise up the males. Let me get this in. I don't want to go over. I'm kind of pressed for time. But this is so important to understand this concept. Some people will try to delegitimize this book, but that's to have you not pay attention to the blueprint of what's going on. And I would suggest you go pick that book up, read it, the Willie Lynch letter. And the chapter is from the Negro marriage or the nigger marriage. This is your oppressor's blueprint for your marriage, right? Today, and it's still in effect. We read it. Let me go back to it. I'm trying to read it on my phone. And it reads, frozen with an independent psychology will raise their offspring into reverse positions. Think about that. You got effeminate men. And you got women that want to be mannish. That's the word we used to use back in the day. Mannish. You mannish. Meaning you want to be like a man. Look, man, your beauty is what you are. In the essence of what you are. Your femininity and you being a woman. Not you. How you look at a man that's effeminate is how the man look at you trying to be mannish. You can't stand no punk man, can you? And then you feel like you got to take charge. But that's done on purpose. And you see this effeminate, and it's sad because this generation of females, they got a bad pick of men because a lot of them's effeminate. When I was coming up, you were rough, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you were just rough, and you know what I'm saying? But I'm just talking about now. These dudes, it ain't all about what you wear, but man, why you wearing yoga pants, dude? You know what I'm saying? You wearing something that damn near look like yoga pants on you, man. Why is you wearing it? Go ahead.
Shalaka, I had to do it. I went around and asked a bunch of youngsters from the age of like 25 and down. You know what I'm saying? When was the last time they got into a fight? You know what I'm saying? And they just fingernails all pedicured and stuff, but they the ones real quick to pull the trigger. You know what I'm saying? But hands ain't never. They just soft, man.
Clap it up for that.
Soft.
I mean, I'm not saying that we should be fighting one each other as
yeah,
brothers, but I know what you're saying. Just
right.
like just like you can see in nature, you pay attention to what you call it, bullocks or different cattle, rams and stuff. They buck and little friendly competition. That's what when you're young, you do stuff like that. Throw some hands, like, man, what you trying to dance or something?
Right.
I can getting fights, but now it's like they want to pull the gun. You seen that movie back in the day, Friday? You remember how he said, y'all just want to pull guns? I'm paraphrasing. We used to use this. You know what I'm saying? You live to fight another day. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Facebook fights, man, pull up. You know what I'm saying? You start beef online, all that stuff like that. It's crazy the stuff that I'm seeing. And then you know what? You talk all that stuff about the white man, but you afraid to do something to him.
Right.
I ain't telling nobody to go out and do nothing, in case you're trying to hate on me and try to shut the video, man. I'm just saying, if you really got a problem with something, it shouldn't matter who you got a problem with. You know what I mean? If you got stones like that, but you scared. You know why? Because you know that in the eyes of society, if you kill that oppressor, you're gonna do way more time than you kill that black person. And that's the way they made it, to make you scared. And in your mind, you think, oh man, I ain't going, but I might get about 3 years if I do this. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they put in the movies. And they get out. And in real life, like, didn't he already? Man.
Case on now.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is this is all traps to devalue us. You know what I'm saying? Why you think a lot of times we get these important, like these big cases, right? These big, we think we got justice because, cop got a couple of years for killing somebody. But meanwhile, you get life, you get the chair. You better not do nothing to no white woman. When she's really the lowest being on the planet. I hope that's lucky. But I'm just keeping it real. She is. But in this earth, she's revered as the highest being. Because that's supposed to be the measure of beauty. It's sad because our sisters is trying to put on their hair and be the white woman. Put on the blonde wig, and that's who they're trying to be, trying to compete for the white man. Let me tell you something, man. Sometimes you just gotta be real. I'm sorry. I'm just real, You look at something, it's really the way it is. When I look at somebody and I'm like, you ain't even real with yourself. You got fake hair, fake breasts, fake behind, fake nails, and a fake attitude.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Talking about you want a real man. You're gone somewhere with all that. You know who you trying to be? You trying to be somebody that you're not supposed to be. Why don't you try being you? Beautiful, woolly, kinky hair or whatever you wear, or if you got, whatever your hair is, rep it. That's what I'm saying. Whether your hair is naturally straight or whatever it is, rep it. And if it don't grow, get some grease. Part of that's a curse, though, too. That's why a lot of black women don't understand why their hair don't grow. That's a scab that the Most High put on. I don't know why I went on in that direction, but tonight's topic, we talking about the traps to destroy black marriages. And we're going into the Willie Lynch letter. Willie Lynch is giving a blueprint of how to break up the marriage. That's why he has a chapter, because he knew he had leisure time to sit out on that plantation and observe the different relationships that was going on that plantation. It talks about how he seen the light skin against the dark skin, the young against the old, the man against the woman. It goes into a lot in that book. You think and that's hundreds of years ago. You didn't have leisure time, just like you don't have leisure time today. You too busy working, dog tired, ball. Dog tired. You picking cotton and corn. Today, you picking cotton. Some of y'all work in a factory folding up cotton t-shirts. What's the difference? Still cotton, right? You see what I'm saying? So I'm trying to show you, the duality in things in history, bring it to the present, and how you can protect your marriage. That Black, Hispanic, Native Indian marriage. I just titled Salaki. I titled it the Black marriage, because for some reason, tribe of Judah, man, we have a lot of issues with marriages. Not that other tribes don't, but it seems like that's a real pitfall for Judah. You know what I mean? Even some of our Israelite brothers and sisters seem to have better family structure than we do sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. And I think we really need to learn from each tribe to gain strength in a certain area. That's what I think personally. You know what I'm saying? Because we do better at some things than this tribe. They do better at some things than us. I think that's something that the Most High wants us to see, and we all come together. I think that's something that the Most High uses for us all to pay attention to, so we can all value each tribe, and then we all come together as a nation, like that scripture say, gather yourself together, whole nation not desire. It's just one man's thought. But anyhow, let me finish reading this, and then we're going to put a bow on it. Man, good night. I'm going to have to do a part 2 in this one because it's so much. It's just so much. We just talked about the tip of the iceberg as far as the traps that the devil used to destroy your marriage, which is important. You say, well, I ain't married. You might want to be married one day. So now, you get this wisdom. You put it in your arsenal somewhere. But the point is, if you don't get anything, know this. There's the third voice that goes against God. Any voice that's going against the word of the Most High, his laws, statutes, and commandments that don't change, that's of the devil. That's of Satan. That's to destroy you. You know what I mean? In some fashion. So let me read the rest of this, and then we're going to close out the class. So it's crazy. Talk about this independent psychology and how they're going to rear or raise the offspring in reverse positions. And that's what you have today. You got, them dykes and stuff on social media, and you got the feminine men. Now, let's read this one. The one with the female offspring will teach her to be like herself, independent and negotiable. Ain't that what it is? Negotiable. So who really negotiate the mind of a lot of black women? The author, which is your oppressor. They might not see it. Negotiate her with his philosophies in college, his philosophies in entertainment, his philosophies in religion, many different avenues. That's how he negotiate her, meaning that, navigate, negotiate, right? I'm just telling you what's what. Through her, by her, we negotiate her at will. Just like a video game. You ever play a video game? You move the character where you want the character to go. And we got to see this because he's playing the black woman like a puppet. You know what I mean? That's how you truly get free, not to let your oppressor negotiate you. And how do you do that? You use the word as a sword to slice the invisible, strings, which is the lies of the devil, lies of the puppet master. You understand? That's how you do it. So let me read a little bit more. Tonight, this is so heavy. I would encourage you to really read this. And then consider society today. The one with the nigger male offspring, she being frozen with a subconscious fear for his life. You have a son. Baby, don't go out there. Don't go mess with them police, because she's going to be fearing for his life all the time. That's why in slavery, a lot of times they took the male and they tortured the male in front of everybody. You ever heard that? That goes into that too. They tie the legs of a man to 2 horses, tar and feather them, beat the horses and rip the man apart in front of the family. This is what your oppressor did. Today, he don't use horses, he uses police force. Put you in line. You getting a little bit too uppity, boy. You getting a little bit too uppity. And that's why you need an army. The reason why Black Wall Street failed, they had businesses, they had hospitals, they had banks, but they didn't have an army. That's why you got an army now in the Isupk and Commander Junior Hana. You got an organization that's trained to be there and protect black people, man. But you need to get in contact with us. You being out there a lone wolf and you want to be on your own, look, every great nation has an army to protect it. Where's your nation, black man? Who, the NFAC? We was there in Louisville when they came down there in Kentucky. Out there, they got their women out there on the front line, children and babies out there on the front line. What other army in the world do that? Crazy as hell. Anyhow, let me finish reading this if I could, then we're going to put a bow on it. Dang, that's crazy. It said, subconscious fear for his life will raise him to be mentally dependent and weak. A lot of women do that and they don't even know why they're doing that. That was instilled in you since slavery to raise your son. And then when that male figure try to get in their life, you rebel, you buck against it. You should be happy the most I gave you another chance to have somebody to take interest and want to, is concerned about the character of your son. Some of y'all, you had failed relationship, you got another relationship. If, the Most High had mercy upon you and let another man take interest in, mentoring your son or male, you shouldn't buck against that. That does it righteously. And that's being with the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High, right? All right, so let me finish reading that. And that's crazy because that's what happens today. But physically strong. So he was mentally dependent and weak, but physically strong. You ever see them athletes? I just want to thank my mama, you know what I'm saying? Well, my mama. They get on there, you strong as hell physically. But you meek and dependent on your mama for everything. Yeah, we love our mother. We appreciate her rareness. But ain't you a man now?
Right.
My mama, I'd go to my mama for everything. I ain't saying don't love your mama and don't listen to your mama for advice. I got a mama. I got a father too. But I'm saying like this, you shouldn't be mentally weak and dependent upon your mama when you become a man. When I was a man, when I was a child, I thought I was a child. When I became a man, I put childish things away. I'm paraphrasing. See what I'm saying? So, that's another aspect that we need to look at that the devil uses. Now, it's the went from breaking up. You see how it multiplied in sins? The serpent broke up the black marriage. Now he's able to break up the black family. You see? Now, if you don't have a family, black family, you can't have a community and you can't have a nation. This right here is the key to building your community and your nation. It's the Bible, the unadulterated word of God. That's what we teach. And as you became the Commander Junior Hana since 1969, we've been teaching this. You got to know this. You need to come back to your culture. You come back to your culture by getting confidence in who you are as a people, as a race. You are the Israelites, according to the Bible. If you're black, Hispanic, or Native Indian by blood, you are the true Hebrew Israelites. If you don't get anything out of tonight's class, know this. You're accountable to the laws of God. And with that, it becomes part of who you are. You need to make that a part of who you are. There's no other way around it. You can call yourself a Christian. You can say, well, I don't believe in nothing. I'm an American. I'm this, I'm that. No. Because there's invisible forces, really, that govern your life and you don't know it. Some of you sooner than later, and that's just what it is. Let me get the rest of this real quick. About 2 more sentences. In other words, body over mind. Now, in a few years, when these 2 offsprings become fertile for early reproduction, Lockie, we will mate. This is so interesting. Good night. We will mate, meaning he control your relationship. That's how he think. You think you young and out there having sex and being in relationships. No, he knows exactly what he's doing. With his movies, with his music, he's gonna mate you and breed them and continue the cycle. So now this thing is on its own axis. He don't even have to have a. He don't even have to sit out on the porch and observe. He can be where he is, and now subconsciously you're gonna carry out the conduct that he wants you to have. You see what I'm saying? That's what's going on. That is good, sound, and long-range comprehensive planning. So we got to know that this was a plan that was instituted hundreds of years ago concerning the nigger marriage. Your oppressor, the so-called white man, Esau in the Bible, the Edomite in the Bible, and other races have plotted against you if you're black, Hispanic, or Native Indian. Tonight's topic, the devil's traps to destroy the black marriage. We talked about many different things he do that. How he do that, Salaki? He uses homosexuality. He uses interracial marriages. He uses some type of philosophy of religion to break you up as a marriage unit, right? And you got to know this because that's the way we get strong as a nation. We got to be on the same page. How can two walk together unless they be agreed? Paraphrasing. Right. With that said, that's tonight's class. Read the security announcements. We on the Isupk start out at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Ties, which is a commandment, Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10 means 10th in the Hebrew, Ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. You can go to the website, isupk.com. You can also support your local school and honor the Most High with that. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming Holy Convocation, we got the 53rd annual Passover. It's going to be in Florida. We'll have more clarification on that later. April 15th. It's like anybody that wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing your all black boots, shirt, headband, and scarf. Learn discipline. Learn the laws of the Most High. We're going to say one prayer tonight, if we could. Imagine. Rise, face east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer. This is Matthew 6:8-13, and I'm going to say it in the Hebrew and English. And if you want to, you can repeat the words. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Ayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malak Wakka, Tabaya, Ratazaka, Ayah, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Ayah, Bashamayam, Nathan Lanawa, Lakam, Call, Yamwam, Masalak Lanawa, Kabwak Nawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kabwak Yanawa, Wala'a, Tabanaya 1, Banasaya 1,
Balasayan
Abal,
Abba,
Habashina,
Abashayano,
Mayan,
Mayan,
Rai,
Rai,
Kaya,
Daya,
Laka,
Laka,
Amalakwa,
Amalakwa,
Waha Allah,
Wala Hawa,
Waha Tapara,
Wahafapara,
La Awalam,
Wa Abalam,
Amen.
Amen.
And this is what we said in English. Our Father,
Our Father,
which art in heaven,
which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
thy kingdom come,
thy kingdom come,
thy will be done
thy will be done,
in earth
in earth,
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts
and forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation,
And lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
So be it.
So be it.
Sorry, turn. We're going to give a courtesy salute to all the brothers watching the stream. Imajim Shabbat, Imajim, Barak, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Barak Adon, Yazmatah, Sar, face the sister. Give a courtesy salute to all the sisters in class, sisters watching the stream. Imajim Shabbat, Imajim, Barak, Yahweh Shamar, Adon Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Yazmatah, Sar. Isupk Indianapolis history class dismissed.